to a degree, and it's like, and you have that.
Yeah, and
that's a plus.
And then when Chisenhall has a good year and somebody overpays him, we'll hear, why did they keep Chisenhall?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Luplo, look, did he get a million chances? No, but in the times that we've seen him, just under 200 plate appearances, it hasn't been good. And I was disappointed in that. I thought we'd see a little more from him. And, it wasn't like he was getting consistent starts, God forbid from Hurdle. But he got playing time and it just wasn't there. So you trade him, you pick up, a need where you have a utility infielder that is a good glove that you can bounce around and, obviously fills the need there. And you bring in Chisenhall, who's a proven guy. And that's exactly the difference with Luplo. Luplo hasn't shown it, and he's young, but he just doesn't have that experience. Chisenhall's been there, he's done it, and, you could say what you will about the health. Obviously we can't predict that. Nobody can. So it's hard to talk about the health. It's like, hopefully he stays healthy, and if he is, he's going to produce. I mean, he's produced when he's on the field. And that's what the Pirates, obviously wanted to go after and bring in a more experienced and proven guy. And, the Pirates actually drafted him back in 2006, which, that was even before Huntington and all that. So it wasn't like, they had the current front office had their eyes on him, but just funny how that works out. But yeah, it's just, to me, DiNardo, like, everyone says, well, why get Chisenhall? Then why not just go get a proven guy, like somebody that is a starter every year or whatever. Like, how are you enticing a free agent to come in?
Let's play a game right now, Ryan. You be Michael Brantley, because that's a real player.
Sweet.
That's if the Pirates wanted to actually do something, they would go get Michael Brantley.
I want paid.
So you're Michael Brantley, right? I'll be your agent. Hey, Mike, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going?
No, not much. I just want to let you know. So we're getting some offers out there. One team that's really interested in you is the Pirates.
Pittsburgh's a cool town. That wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, they're offering a pretty decent contract.
Well, what am I starting?
Wait
a minute. Don't they have Polanco and Marte and a Gold Glover and Dickerson?
That's the thing. Polanco's injured right now. So, you're definitely going to be starting opening day because you have Marte in center. They have Dickerson in left field. Polanco's injured. They don't really know. So you'll definitely be starting right field. And, I mean, it's potentially, there's a possibility they could trade Dickerson once, Polanco comes back. So I can't promise you anything, but, there might be like a rotation, almost like when they had, Austin Meadows there last year. There might be some type of rotation going on. I can't promise anything.
So I'm only possibly starting opening day is what you're telling me. How much is the contract?
Can't guarantee it. Well, I mean, the contract would be nice. They're going to offer like $15 million a year.
Nah, I want to start.
Okay. Well, I can't promise that.
And there we have it. Like,
right?
How?
I don't understand. Like, with these people, there's two ways. There's two people that decide a contract. Well, I mean, there's more involved, but I mean, there's two sides to it. You can't just say, "Oh, just go get that person." Why the hell would anyone who is an everyday player want to come to Pittsburgh now? No one's guaranteed a starting job. There are three starters in Pittsburgh once Polanco is healthy, unless something happens. And they haven't traded Dickerson yet. So what free agent is saying, oh, yeah, let me just go to Pittsburgh? Nobody.
It's only shortstop and second because those are where the openings are at this point.
Exactly. You are not enticing a free agent right now who is an everyday player to come to Pittsburgh. Which one of you people that are saying that the Pirates are cheap and because they didn't do it, which one of you... If you are a baller, right, and you want to go out there and play every day, are coming to Pittsburgh. If you had that choice, right, it's your power. You sign the pen to whoever you want. Why the hell are you putting your signature on a contract for Pittsburgh? It doesn't make any sense. That's why you're not getting that type of player to come to Pittsburgh. It has nothing to do with the Pirates. They could have offered $15 million for Brantley. That's what I'm getting at. They could offer 20. I mean, once you get to a certain point, I'd probably do it. But if I want to play, right, I'm a baller. I want to play. I'm not coming to Pittsburgh to play as an outfielder. There's not a position there.
Yeah, and you could sit there and say, well, I could start for a half year. Probably play, kind of bounce around after that. And then, maybe they don't keep Dickerson and I could stay. But, I mean, like you said, guys that's Michael Brantley, too, who's, talk about injuries. But, like, some of these other outfielders that are out there, like, they're not signing that. They're not coming with that. The Pirates don't have an opening. And, Chisenhall fits in perfectly. It's a 1-year deal. If it doesn't work out and he blows his knee out or something, then, okay, the sunken cost was $2.75 million at that point. You don't have to worry about the incentives, obviously, and the extra plate appearances, and that's that, and you move on. But you go out and sign somebody to 3-4 years, and then, first off, they're not even going to sign it because there's not an opening in Pittsburgh in the outfield. So,
right.
Yeah, it just kills me when that, that kind of narrative came up. And then, the whole thing about, what are they signing him for, and not, we had Luke Lowe, we have Frazier, they could play the outfield. Well, yeah, Frazier probably will play the outfield at times. He'll probably also be playing second base and God knows where else.
In a lot of places, right.
Right.
So it's like Frazier can become our 5th outfielder once everyone's, healthy and such. And that's really good. And that's the thing, too. Like, even if someone is still... If Polanco isn't right or whatever, or someone else goes down, like Frazier can be your 4th outfielder. He's proven that. You know what I mean? So that's why I really like this deal, because you already have someone who's very competent in being a 4th outfielder. And if he gets regulated to like a super utility role or like a 5th outfielder and playing second base mostly or whatever, like I'm perfectly okay with that. That's why I really like this deal, because even if something happens to him, it was low risk and you still have someone that can, supplement it. I would rather not put a whole lot of money into a position that is not needed for an everyday an agenda, when I can use those, those funds to tie into some of that I actually do need, like middle infield, or some pitching or such. That's why, why blow $10 million a year or something on an outfielder to then become your 4th outfielder, and then and then you're dealing with, Newman and Moroff, or it's not Moroff, but Newman and
Moroff,
Kramer in like your middle infield. I mean, is that what you really want? No, that's not the best way to use your money. That is not wise at all. This is great.
But you're absolutely right. Like that, they didn't settle for once. They didn't settle and just went with an in-house piece. And they signed a guy that can be a starter, that has started, that, if he's healthy, pretty much starts.
When he is healthy, he has been the starter.
Yeah. So anyway,
there's not a question about his talent.
The incentive. So there's basically $3 million he can make more in incentives based on the plate appearances. Which, if you look at the Pirates, let's say Polanco comes back and it gets hurt again. I know it's a real stretch. It's a real stretch. So let's say he gets hurt again, and you have to roll with Chisenhall, and he gets that full season in. Then he's going to get paid like it. And that's obviously why he probably signed it that way. And then there's also incentives. Here's the extra one. So there's Gold Glove, which Dickerson's probably wishing he would have had that. In his
and
contract.
we would have been the ones we were laughing at last year.
Right.
Like, and how about this one? Dickerson's got a Golden Glove award.
This DH wants a Gold Glove, yeah.
Give it to him.
So Chisenhall has Gold Glove, top 3 MVP, World Series MVP, and then LCS MVP. So there you go. It cracks me up. But so there's some extra incentives for him. So yeah, man, Lonnie baseball coming to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good deal.
You heard it here first, folks. All right. Speaking of, tossing, like you said, other money at like guys like Brantley and just see how much you could throw at him until the guy wants to come here. Let's talk Josh Donaldson, DiNardo, real quick. Not too many things shock me in the world of sports anymore. Josh Donaldson signed a 1-year, $23 million deal with the Braves. And good deal with the Braves. I like it from their move. It basically is a stopgap. 1 year, until Riley, their big prospect, can come up and play third. It gives them options. They can move, they could trade Swanson, move Carmogo over, trade him, keep Swanson, who knows. But basically, I'm stunned that Donaldson got a 1-year deal and that's it. Donaldson, who went healthy again, we talk about, I know he was injured last year, but he came back. He was with the Indians. The Indians made the trade for him.
Sure.
But when Donaldson's healthy, he puts up MVP numbers, and he always has. And, he was basically the third, projection-wise, the third best, prospect out there in free agency this year. And I'm stunned that he didn't get maybe he did get a 2-year and 3-year offer, but it wasn't for as much money. But I mean, I can't believe there wasn't like a 3-year 60 or a 2-year 50 or whatever.
Well,
but he signs for a 1-year deal.
I guess I'm not too shocked because, what's funny is we talked about Josh Donaldson, I don't know, maybe a month, 2 months ago. A possibility is he a person the Pirates could sneak in, for third base? Mm-hmm. And I think we pondered about like a 1-year deal. Like, could you? And this is before. You know what? It was right when he got traded to Cleveland, I guess. So this is before we saw like the last month. So up to this point, it was just injury. You didn't know what he was going to be when he came back.
Right.
So we kind of speculated like maybe he could take a 1-year deal. Regain that value. How much would it take? I mean, this answered our question. It's going to take one year. Was it $23 million or 24? I forget what you said. And I forget what.
23. Yeah, 23.
23. Okay. That's what it took. Now, obviously, he proved when he came back, play with Cleveland that he looked pretty good, but it's still a health risk. Maybe it's exactly like you said. Maybe teams were not really open to signing him long term. Age, he's not super young, but he's coming off a very injury-riddled season. A lot of questions about his shoulder. Like, can he even throw? I think some of that was answered. But still, it's like, do you want to give 3 years, $60 million to this guy? I don't know. Maybe he wasn't getting it. So his thought was, you know what? This team's going to throw a lot of money at me, which is kind of smart for the Braves.
Yeah.
They have some cash to throw around. They're getting an MVP, a potential MVP candidate. Right now, they're eliminating a lot of risk because it's just 1 year. They're going to pay money out, for it, $23 million to do it. But that's it. And if he's MVP, then great. And then he can move on. They got what they needed out of him. And then he can establish himself again next year in free agency and get that longer term contract. I mean, he's essentially betting on himself. And I'll never hate a player for doing that.
Right. And we don't know what other offers he got. He signed pretty early on. So maybe other teams were kind of sputtering around and he saw this deal and said, yeah, it's kind of like a prove me deal. And I mean, he's getting very well paid for 1 year. Mm-hmm. But I'm just surprised someone didn't throw, a 2-year 50 or 2-year 40 or kind of like what the Indians signed, Edwin to the 360 a couple years ago. So yeah, that surprised me. And like I said, I would have liked to seen Donaldson. I mean, obviously once Gunn coming back, the Pirates have 16 third basemen basically. So I don't think Donaldson was really an option at that point.
Oh, no.
Or spending 23. But like you said, it's smart for teams to do this. Not that, the Braves don't have the money or something like that. But they basically go out and say, just let's overpay almost for 1 year. And it's a 1-year deal. I mean, yes, can a 1-year deal be bad? Sure. But it's pretty, it's just, like you said, it's at the end of the day, it's money. And I know it's not my money I'm spending, but yeah, it's a low risk because if it just completely goes south and Donaldson sucks and is injured again, all right, you lost $23 million, but you move on next year.
Right.
So yeah, I liked it. I liked it from the Braves standpoint. And then
yeah, I did.
And then the other kind of like free agent or off-season news here as the Mariners. The Mariners keep things interesting for us, don't they?
Very interesting. I mean, a blockbuster deal in the works, and then before that's even
before
done,
the winter meetings,
already making another deal in there. He goes and trades off Colomé for a catcher while this deal's being panned out. I mean, Dipoto. I love him.
Dipoto. So,
but
do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead.
The whole deal, basically, we mentioned this too about. I think we tweeted more about this about Cano and Edwin. We talked to Edwin Diaz for a long time on the one show.
Mm-hmm.
But they trade Diaz, so Diaz, Cano, to the Mets of all teams, and the Mets send back Jay Bruce, Anthony Swarzak, and then like their third and fourth prospects.
Yeah, or fourth and fifth if you read Baseball America. It's out right now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, 2 first-round picks, an outfielder, a pitcher, both very young. This is why I look at this deal, and a lot of the tweets that are coming out from North Carolina are from me. So if you're wondering who was loving this deal and who is really complaining about, why were the Pirates not involved, would you like to see the Pirates involved, it's coming from me because, honestly, I love this deal for the Mets. And in fact, let's put it this way. I love this deal for whoever was receiving it from the Mariners.
Yeah, and okay. I don't understand how the Mets fans were upset about it.
What?
Well,
I guess I could see it on the aspect of much like how all the Pirates fans are upset about whatever the Pirates do because nothing ever truly makes sense. I mean, they just got this GM. They're talking about trading Syndergaard, but yet